Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is the story about what if Naruto was neglected and became a Mist Shinobi. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. So without any further ado, let's start the what if. Naruto stood off on the other side other training grounds. The rookies wished to speak to him. I wanna know one thing. Who the hell do you think you are attacking Mito like you did back in Wave? Kiba stated angrily. Naruto raised an eyebrow at them while both the Hokage and Mizukage watched this with their families along with the clan heads watching this tense standoff. Well, in my defense, she attacked me first. I had no real interest in fighting her at that moment, he said to the dog boy. Hinata and a couple others looked at said blonde who nodded slightly embarrassed at that memory. You still had no right to hurt her like that. She is still your little sister, Ino said harshly to him. Why the hell am I being lectured by brats nonetheless? None of you children know a goddamn thing about me, or the hell I had to face in this place. So step off your high horse, Blondie, he said with an annoyed tone, crossing his arms over his chest. Have any of you been looked at like you were worse than dirt? Been treated like a disease that no one wanted to be around and have no reason to hope that it will get better? He asked them. None of them spoke as they looked down, unable to speak at the moment. He was right and they knew it. It was still your job to as older sibling to look out for her, Hinata said to him, looking back up and glaring at him. Oh, this coming from the stuttering little princess who pokes her fingers together and passes out when a boy speaks to her, the same one who lets her little sister beat on her because she has no backbone to stand up for herself. Please spare me, you little hypocrite, he sneered at her. This shocked her as to how he knew about that, but bowed in her head in embarrassment. Hisahi was not happy hearing that, and neither was his wife. Why bother? She had parents, godparents, friends, and a Biju for company. I had no one. I was ghost. One they didn't want, he said again, mainly to himself, emotionlessly. Minato and Kushina were cringing, having to remember the fact they spent no time with him at all. It hurt them badly, especially Kushina, who was holding a sleeping Mirai. I'm done with this conversation. I won't stand here and be lectured by these little shits who have no idea how the real world works. Good day, he said, annoyed. He began walking off, but the rookies were not going to let him. You screwed with one of us, you screw with us all, Kiba said. Naruto looked back. Okay, Mutt, you're pushing a real fine line here. I am a bounty hunter, in case you forgot. I could kill you, take you into a collection agency, and go on my merry way. He explained. This made the kids look at him wearily and nervously, while the clan heads tensed up. They would make sure that wouldn't happen. Naruto, you know you can't do that. You would be branded as an S rank and hunted forever, Minato said to him, trying to defuse the situation. Naruto scoffed, but it's okay for them to talk down to me with this self-righteousness? I shouldn't have come back. This was a waste of my time. He was now furious. He was done dealing with them. Both families flinched hearing him. They knew he still harbored resentment, so it didn't surprise them at all. You can't walk away. You don't just come back from the dead and leave once it's over with. Hinata said, glaring at him, walking up and grabbing his arm. Naruto turned back. You seem to think I care. I had no real intentions of coming back, but with the Akatsuki I wasn't given a choice. I told you about danger, now it's time for me to go. He glared at the Hyuga, retching his arm away, not backing down, which finally made her flinch a bit. But we need your help. If they get your sister, this world will be plunged into darkness. Kushina said, pleading to him. No, they won't. I killed off 5 of the members. You will win this war without me there. You don't need me here, you have all the power you need, he told them. Kushina and Mei began to slump a bit, seeing he was not wanting to stay. You think you're so much better than us that you can just leave? Ino said incredulously. I don't think, I know. Now piss off. Naruto said simply. This pissed off the rookies, who looked offended. But both Kushina and Mei were heartbroken hearing him speak like that. He had changed drastically, and it wasn't for the better. They were in tears seeing how cold and callous he really was underneath the calm demeanor. Well, if you disagree, then do something about, otherwise stop your bitching about it. But then again, you're all clan heirs, everything was given to you, so why should I expect otherwise from whiny little brats? Naruto said to them. Hey, you may be her older brother, but we are the best to come out of Konoha, you couldn't take us all on. Sasuke said with Kiba and Choji nodding in approval. Naruto raised an eyebrow. I took on Itachi, killed Orochimaru, slayed over 1,000 men with 3 jutsu, took on the 3 tails and stopped Kiri's civil war. What have you done? He asked them, now waiting for a response. This stopped them all dead. They knew about it and he was right. Compared to him they were rookies still, many of them looked down as they had no comebacks, while Sasuke and Kiba grit their teeth in earnest. As far as I am concerned, this village, this world can burn, I don't care anymore. I am going home and I expect you not to bother me anymore, he said, walking away. But Kiba and Sasuke wouldn't let their pride take hits like that. You'll regret looking down on us, you bastard. Kiba screamed as the two charged ahead, throwing punches at him. But he turned around and grabbed their fists. Pride has no use for the dead, he said darkly, throwing down their fists, grabbing their heads and smashing them together, knocking them out. He looked back up at them all. Last warning, come after me again. I will kill you and take you to the bounty office, he said with electricity sparking off him to get the point across. This made Minato sigh. I'm sorry, Naruto. I really did fail with you, but for injuring clan heirs, you're now under arrest, he said tiredly. Naruto cracked his neck. You know what? Fine, I'll do you one better, kill you all and give Mito to them wrapped with a fucking bow, he said, now activating his Rinnegan as he turned back, now walking fast-paced to them much to their horror. Anbu appeared to take him into custody, rushing him in hopes to catch him off guard. Shinra, Tensei. The blast threw them all back, seeing it didn't work and he was still coming. Kid, just give up, it doesn't have to be this way, Jiraiya pleaded. You're so full of shit, you let them attack me, I defend myself and I am the one in trouble, so you know what, you can go fuck yourselves, he bellowed out, unleashing his bloodlust upon them. Everything felt heavy now. The rookies, who never felt such power, began shaking. Those like Sakura and Hinata began crying. The adults couldn't believe how potent it was. They were sweating badly as well, not to mention that breathing was becoming an issue. Both Yuza and Mirai were now crying and shaking. The negativity was harsh and they couldn't handle it, as Kushina and Mei were shielding them, same with Haku and her son Shen. Naruto then began killing off the Anbu with mercy or remorse. His gaze back on them, amping up his killing intent greatly. It was more powerful than even the Nine Tails. Kushina and Mei and Haku were shielding their babies from it as best they could from his gaze. Please Naruto, stop, you have made your point. Haku said, hoping he would stop as she was shaking with fear along with her baby. He relented and stopped, seeing as they got the point. Saying nothing, he left. He was done. They looked at him in horror and sadness. Please, can't we just start over? Haku asked, wiping away her tears as Chojuro comforted her, while keeping her close should he try anything. No, I buried that long ago, I have nothing there, and I will never return to that, he said, leaving the grounds. With no other choice, Minato and Jiraiya made their attacks. Quicker than he could contemplate, he was slugged hard by a fist, then a boot to the gut and sent flying into a tree. Jiraiya summoned Gamabunta as backup along with several other who had summoning contracts. Naruto got out of the tree. Since you won't let me leave of my own accord, the hard way it is, he said, doing his own summon. Appeared at 2 dragons, one was Edolana, the other was bigger, with horns on his head and a red and black coloring to his scales. This made everyone stop dead looking at these creatures. My god, he has dragons! Tsunade said, now in shock. Many of the others couldn't believe it either as the two stood there glaring at them. Ryuzaki, the Akatsuki are coming, kill them and burn the bodies, he said nonchalantly. The bigger dragon nodded and flew off to finish them. Edolana, they want war, he said, looking to her. Understood, Papa. As she channeled her own dragon force, she made way against the other summons. You want war, you'll get war, he said, channeling his own power, his Rinnegan still activated. The rookies were now ready to fight along with Chojuro, Kin, Tayuya, Dosu and Zuko. The clan heads were also ready. Itachi and Hana were first. It does not have to be this way, stop this madness, Itachi said. I didn't start it, but then again it was always me against this world and I stand alone. Naruto rushing ahead. At speeds even the Sharingan couldn't match. He decked Hana in the face and kicked Itachi away, still speeding by. The heads got into the fight as well to protect their kids. Naruto wasn't pulling any punches and took them all out like rookies. To their kids' horror, their bodies splayed out bloodied and unconscious. Turning his gaze to the next generation, he walked to them, his eyes blazing. He was done playing nice. Fuck what the sage and his family asked of him. He was done being the good guy. Minato and Jiraiya intercepted him to make him stop. On the side, Kushina and Mei looked in horror and fear. This wasn't the boy they loved. He was a monster and he couldn't be stopped. Haku held her head in shame and heartbreak as she cried. Her big bother was gone. Kakashi and the Jonin were now the backup, keeping the kids safe who were in front of Kushina, Mikoto, and the others who were now there watching the carnage. We must go now, Kushina said to the kids. No. We started this, we have to bear our sins, Mito said in tears, seeing her big brother fighting to kill their father. Please Naruto, stop this, we can still change it all around, Minato pleaded as the fighting stopped for a moment. Why do so now? You didn't for years, no one did. Why change your mind now when all was said and done? Because I made a mistake and I want to fix that. You didn't deserve what happened, we failed you there, but please no more, stop this and come home. Naruto sighed, shaking his head. I don't have a home here, and even if I did come back, you know full well the civilians and elders rule this place. I'd be placed in jail and executed, no trial. I'd be stripped of all I have, given to either Mito or someone else, then possibly used as breeding stock. You are simply a figurehead here, he said. No, after you left I gained it all back. The council was disbanded and no longer have a hand in ninja affairs, he said. It changes nothing, I despise this place, he said, sprinting forward, catching him and an uppercut, sending him flying. He turned and caught Jiraiya's fist with his mechanical hand as he ducks under a swift kick from Tsunade. Pulling the old toad forwards, he was caught in one of Tsunade's punches, sending him flying. With a swift kick of his own, sends the slug princess flying as several loud pops were heard and the summons were gone, with Edelana being the last happy she finally got to fight and left as well. Put of nowhere, a blade went through his right shoulder, causing pain to flare, as Tsunade threw a chakra-fused punch at him, connecting and sending him into a thicket of trees. At the same time, medics came and helped those injured while grabbing the dead and taking them away. We have to end this now, Minato, otherwise the Akatsuki get here and game over, Jiraiya said grimly. He nodded and got ready, as did those still able to fight. Suddenly a tree exploded nearby and Naruto came, his shoulder bleeding, his right arm limp and damaged to his chest. He was panting slightly and trying to stay focused. Kushina looked at him horrified, as did Mei. This is not what they wanted to, but he was right to a degree. They were making his life just that much harder now. I'm sorry, but you know the laws of Konoha. Now either give up and come peacefully, or you must die. Minato said as the fourth Hokage pulling out his Hiraishin. Soon the heads came to stand with him, as did the rookies, Itachi and Hana. Naruto's eye held hate, pure, uncorrupted and real. With nothing left to say, he made two clones, and they began their hand signs. Kakashi, having seen this before, knew what he was going to. He is making a unison raid, he said. They went wide-eyed and made their attacks. Earth style, mud balls. Water style, water encampment. Wind style, great gale. The mud balls were covered in water and hit by the wind, freezing them as they sailed into the leaf Nin's paths. The Uchiha threw fireballs at them to counteract them with great difficulty. At the same time, a giant explosion was hears, and the dragon came back with two bloodied cloaks. Naruto looked at him, seeing it was done. Good, you can go home, he said. The dragon nodded, with them dead, one less issue to worry about. At the same time, the others saw as well, and while glad, were shocked by this. He was done playing games, making several more clones. They reached out at his attackers. Bansho, Tenin. Lifting off the ground, they went sailing to him as he pulled out chakra rods, slamming them in shoulders and into the ground, pinning them to the ground. This is it for me. No more warnings, no more games. I am walking away, leave me be. With nothing left, he walked away, vanishing into the air, leaving the remains behind. Shock, sadness, anger, self-loathe and determination were felt. The kids decided to leave him be, much to Mito's heartbreak. But it was for the best. Nothing was stopping him from killing them and taking them into the bounty office. With the Akatsuki dead, life could breathe and things went back to normal again, but they all made sure not to invoke the ire of the bounty hunter ever again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this what if, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. It really means a lot. Peace. あいつを救い出せるのはお前だけだ。